Hello and welcome back to KSP at ASTA. Today I've got some good stuff for you all. Just real quick, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and remember to leave a comment about what you would like to see more of in this series. First up, we've got Saturn 1 launching from a Phoenix 2 Heavy. This is our heavy lift variant of our reusable rocket, the Phoenix 2. As you can see, we are starting to pitch over, which marks the beginning of our gravity turn. This move allows us to more efficiently reach orbit. Soon, we will be ditching our side boosters to burn up on re-entry. Sadly, because of the fact that I completely drained them of fuel, they cannot and will not be able to be recovered. Sad fate, but soon we'll be correcting it with the future Phoenix 3, but time will tell when that will be ready. We just ditched our fairing, which now you can see the new probe, and this probe is covered from top to bottom in super important science equipment, all of which will be heading straight for the planet Sarnus and its moons, none of which I have ever seen before. At least I don't remember seeing any of them before, so at the very least I am super excited for when this probe finally reaches Sarnus in several in-game years. But as you can see, my fiddling around with the solar panels, this mission also has many mini probes. These little probes will have the capabilities to separate from the main craft and fly out to other parts of Sarnus's gravity well, allowing us to set up an early comms network for the system. It won't be fully comprehensive, but it will allow us to communicate with multiple probes throughout the system at all times, which is a godsend if you haven't seen any of my early missions on from the times where I sent out probes to even Duna and just could not get any sort of communications at all. As you can see, we are now fast forwarding to the best and most optimal point for us to send our probe all the way out to Sarnus. It is a pretty costly burn, completely making our Phoenix 2 Heavy completely expendable. We expended all parts of this Phoenix 2 Heavy, and none of them will be recovered, which is just okay. But here we go. We are now approaching halfway through this burn. We are going as fast as possible. This is currently at 10 times speed, while also at 4 times speed in game. This was a very long burn, but as you can see, we are almost done, and we will be cutting the engines shortly, and this thing will begin its very, very long trip out to Sarnus. We are closing in on it, and engine cutoff is soon. Very soon. Boom. There we go. And we just have to create our little correction burn, and we will be off to the orange planet. Here we have Astra 18 on its way to Odin Station. I accidentally did not record its launch, but that's okay. You've already seen many Astra missions launch before in this series. This launch was nothing new, and it just served to send more Kerbals to Odin Station, just so that we have a constant group of Kerbals in command of the station, just like the ISS in real life. Of course, this was launched on top of a Phoenix 2. It's practically the only vehicle we regularly launch. Hopefully that will change soon, but both you and I know that seeing it be the only one is starting to become a bit boring, just like how normal Falcon 9 launches are kind of becoming boring in real life. Like, yeah, we see them multiple times a week. Anyways, the Kerbals on board are Archer Samarin, Sarah Myers, and Audrey Wright. All three hold the rank of crewman, which is basically our lowest rank in our astronaut corps here at the ADHD Aerospace. Yeah, anyway, we are now closing in quickly on the station, and we are going to line up to dock very soon. So here is our little burn to get us a little closer, and this is the part where I have to tell you that I made a tiny bit of a mistake here in just a second. When I did this, I thought I was in docking mode. I was not in docking mode, as you can see. And you'll see as I line it up, I separate and panic. Yep, so I just ditched the lower stage there, the one that will help us return these Kerbals to the surface. Thankfully, there is more than enough monopropellant on board to actually deorbit us. And even if there isn't, we can always get out and push. That is a funky little thing about Kerbal Space Program, is you can always get out and push, which is kind of nice. But anyway, here we are closing in on that docking port, and we will be able to restock this craft very soon. And there we go. We are docked. And here's the next mission. So here is Solar Odin being launched on a Phoenix 2. This craft's purpose is to start building out the solar trusses that will extend from Odin to help us gather up as much electric charge as possible, so that in the near future we can use Odin as a manufacturing plant for massive interplanetary ships. This launch, once again, I forgot to hit record as soon as I started the launch. But I feel it's the same effect as the last mission. You've seen it all before, and if you haven't, click the card in the top right hand corner of the screen. Anyway, now that you've clicked it, or haven't clicked it, we are coming in for re-entry. Yes, this is a standard re-entry of the Phoenix 2, so that we can recover the first stage. It's coming down on a city, but just ignore that. It's actually coming in a park. So what if we hit Central Park? It was in the park, it didn't hit a building. But here we are, creating our maneuver node with Odin Station so that we can send our giant solar truss out to the station. Look at how much electric charge this thing will just be able to generate. It is massive. And we'll be adding more of these in the near future. So here we are. We just sent it out to Odin Station, and we are going to basically match our velocity as soon as we come into contact with, well, as soon as we get close enough to it. Once we match our velocity, we will be officially in what is called a rendezvous, and when you are in a rendezvous, you're basically close enough together to kind of not really care about how far apart you, like, to basically explain it, it's like the moves that you make and how close you are, because you're going so close at a relative velocity, you don't really have to worry about how different your velocities will get, because you will always be kind of close enough together that it won't really matter. That's kind of how it works. It's not really how it works, but that's kind of how it works. It's kind of how I treat it. Yeah. Anyway, we are now closing in on the station. We had to find the correct docking port, and we have to get in as quickly as possible. Well, not really as quickly as possible, but we do have to get down to the station soon so that we can plug in our solar panels and we can send in the next mission. So it is going fairly slowly. Again, I will remind you that this is at 10 times speed. So if you think it was short, if you think it's long for you, it was long for me. Like, insanely long. But we are finally closing in on the station. We are finally getting close enough to actually plug this thing in, dock it right up to the station, and call it a day. But here we go. The shadow is starting to hang in front of the docking port, and I thought, why not put it right here? Hilariously, those solar panels on the left are actually the thing that are blocking out these solar panels, but that will not be the case for very long. Here we are, and we have docked. There we go. We're just making sure everything is fine. We had to rotate the station a little bit to get an optimal amount of light. And yeah, there we go. It is absorbing as much light as possible, or at least it will be. And we are starting the next mission, which is the Metzli Hydroponics mission. Now, the Metzli mission, actually launching from the ground and getting the full recording for it. Hooray. It's the second one of this video, even though we've had 4 launches. This one is basically going to provide all of the food we can possibly provide and hold enough electric charge so that we can actually not have our Kerbals freak out every couple of days. Which is honestly pretty important. There we go. We just started up our second stage, which is going to put us in orbit, which is going to start up our orbital insertion burn. But the first stage is on its way back down to the surface as we complete this orbital insertion burn. Oh, I did the animation for this wrong. Okay. Well, that's fine. It's just gonna go that way this time, I guess. Anyway, here we are, coming in very hot to the surface. And we are going to land as quickly as we can on that ground down there. And we have our landing in just a couple seconds. There we go. There we go. We landed. It's going to topple over, and then it's going to crush the fin. That's fine. We can replace fins. And then we're going to go and we're going to send ourselves out to the Mun. It's going to go into a polar orbit, which is where Metzli Station is. It's in a polar orbit around the Mun. And it is going to basically help situate our Kerbals. So our Kerbals, the reason why we are in a polar orbit of the Mun is that it regularly goes over the poles. And at the poles is our Mun base. There is actually currently no Kerbals on the Mun base. I need to figure some things out in the meantime to make it more habitable, which is fine. It is just abandoned for the time being. It will be restocked soon-ish, maybe in a couple of episodes, but I'm not absolutely certain on that. Anyway, we just ditched our second stage. Our second stage will eventually come back down to the surface of Kerbin, and will be basically recouped. The cost of it will be recouped. So here we are. We are going to slow down real quick, and boom. Now we are going to angle ourselves towards the station, and we are going to dock as quickly as possible. This was actually a really long time to dock because it had very low monopropellant. So low, in fact, that we ran out. You'll see here in a couple of seconds that it will run out of monopropellant. So we actually have to use the station. The station has quite a large surplus of monopropellant, but you'll see I switched to the station and I decided to dock this way because, yeah, it would be easier. And I also noticed that there was a piece that was hogging a docking port, part of the parts of the station that, kind of exploded off during the Kraken attack. But there we go. We are almost docked. There we go. We're fully docked, and that is perfect. And this marks about the end of the episode. So if you have made it this far into the episode, why not hit subscribe? Like, why not? And yeah, leave a comment that talks about how much you want other things to happen in the series. And that is all, and goodbye. Oh yeah, if you like this series, click on the videos for the series and the buttons. Bye, have a good day.